actually think
Those leaves look like they're staged farther.
well, this is a young plant.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do this one together. Okay?
Where?
Here's this if anybody.
What?
That's why it's so bitter.
Okay, guys. Who wants to take a guess at the genus of this particular plant? Right here. And why do you know that? One non-resinous bud scale. Thank you, Hayden. Okay. Right. So I do think these might be different.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
The leaves feel different?
They are a little bit
Yeah,
different.
One is quite pubescent. The other is not. I
Could
think
it
they're different.
be a hybrid by chance?
It's
We couldn't
possible.
decide though if this was resistant.
Yeah, especially in this area, hybrids would probably start
There are
hybridization.
loads of different Salix species right here. There's probably 5.
Cute.
Okay. But we're going to do this one together, all right? So if you want, you can come up and break off a piece, or he can clip you off a piece,
Yeah.
and you can kind of step
Anybody
back and
want a
go through
clipping?
with us.
Everybody take a clipping from this one
Take
topic.
a clipping. They're going to bulldoze it anyways.
Yeah, for real.
Why would they bulldoze it?
I think they're
Give me a
gonna
small
expand
one,
the park.
A smaller one?
Yeah.
I think they're probably going to put like
Isn't this like a natural park?
you would think.
Somebody else?
One would hope.
I'm trying to force you clipping.
Anybody else over here? Please do.
Sorry.
Roll over there.
So that you can help us go through the key.
Wow, look at those clippers.
I know, I was thinking you had
heavy,
the little
dude.
clippers we got.
Yeah.
Those are like serious.
Seriously.
And then
Okay.
there's me weekly pulling off trying to pull up branches.
Yeah.
I feel like
So- I
it's
got
more
really sick of
friendlier.
that.
We think this is a tree or a shrub,
Yeah,
guys.
you're not like
Shrub.
Shrub?
Shrub.
Okay. So which key are we at? We're going to be doing the shrubs, simple alternate lacking spines, which starts on page 65. Okay? Okay, who wants to help me read? Who wants to MC this? I don't want to do it all the time. Nobody?
I can. That's
You
fine.
want to go for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stems fleshy, constricted at the nodes, leaves scale-like, or plants not as above.
No.
Not
No.
scale like.
Okay, stems and or leaves more or less scurfy or mealy, or not scurfy. I would say not.
Yes.
We're going to 14.
Okay.
Is scurfy just a misspelling of scruffy?
No.
Just kidding. Sorry.
No, Scarfy is something.
No.
The question is, what does scurfy mean?
Yes.
I figured that was the question. Scurfy is when you have this almost like a scale-like appendage that is on, and it gives it a texture.
Oh, okay.
And mealy is very similar to that in definitions.
Okay. Cool, cool.
So would that be like a tamarix or?
Well, those are the leaves, so we might consider the
Oh.
entire branch to look scurfy, but
But not-
scurfy is really a surface word, a surface term.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. 14. We're on page 67. Stems appearing almost leafless or stems leafy. I mean, pretty leafy. Go to 17. With or without a sage-like odor.
I didn't think there was one. Well, she smelled it. One of them smelled it.
So we
So
agree
maybe
35.
So
Yeah.
35.
Lobed or cleft or mostly entire serrate or crenate.
Definitely not lobed, right?
Not lobed. So 76. Mature leaves, whitish or silvery tomentose on one or both sides, with conspicuous copious soft hairs, the hair matted, woolly, or oppressed, more or less obscuring the surface of the leaf. Leaves sometimes appearing terete if they are so revolute that the tomentose underside does not show, or not as above, hairs, if present, usually short, sometimes stiff or rough. or if longer, dense, or sparse but not obscuring the leaf surface.
Okay, I really want you guys to look at these leaves. Look at the top surface and look at the bottom surface, right? And take a look, if you're of mind, to look through your loop. Does anybody need a leaf?
Oh, I already looked at it.
I'm sharing.
Oh, here.
I want you guys to
Like
understand
easier
the
in the
difference
sun.
here.
Yes.
Or I can put my hand loop up to it.
I think that should help. And
What do
hopefully,
you know about the difference between
it's
the
washed.
top and the bottom blade?
So the bottom is a lot more hairy.
So it's somewhat hairy on the bottom, like tiny ones. But I wouldn't call it copious.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd agree with that.
How about the top?
Yeah, it's definitely got like a little bit of matting on it
I think so too.
in the loop. So on 76, what do we think?
So what do we think? For 76, are we talking about the leaves whitish or silvery tomentose on one or both sides versus hairs if present usually short, sometimes stiff or rough? Or if longer, dense or sparse but not obscuring the leaf surface? Does it obscure the leaf surface on the bottom?
On the backside of it.
It does.
It kind of does,
Yeah.
right? And one of the ways you can know that this is such a difference is the color of the leaves. Look at the color of the top versus the bottom.
Mm, yeah, it's like you can definitely tell it's whiter.
So do we think it's 77 or 130?
But she pointed out, is it white because of the fire though? Because of all the like dust?
That's actually a good thing to think about, right? It could be, and it also could be because of this, right? Its plant is right
Yeah.
near this dust.
Well, I mean, your hand loop should be able to see if it's dirt or not.
Also, I think it's rained more recently than the fire,
So,
so I don't
Probably.
know what to add.
so if we're worried, what do?
Do it both.
We can't both ways, right? So let's go with 77 first, and then we might need to come back to 130, okay? Go ahead, Tyler.
Okay. Leaves in loose, mostly basal rosettes, or leaves not constricted or restricted to loose rosettes, but also on the stem. They're definitely on the stem, right? Flowering stems and branches of the inflorescence grooved and angled, densely and intricately branched, or if terete with short spinose lateral branches, or flowering stems and branches not grooved or angled. They're pretty
Okay.
round, I would say.
I'm gonna stop us right here, okay? Do you guys have an idea of what this genus is?
Yes.
What do you think? We think it's Salicaceae family, Salix genus, right? I just perused through the key until I got to 130. It's all Eriogonum. So we're gonna skip to 130 because that's a legitimate thing to do, right? We know the genus. So we're gonna skip to 130.
Okay. So are they deciduous or not deciduous?
Not.
Okay. 131, leaf buds covered with one non-resinous cap scale or more than one?
What do you guys think?
Oops, definitely one.
One.
Okay. So that takes us to 132, right? Mat forming or not mat forming? It's not. 135. Leaf blades linear, usually 6 or more times longer than wide, entire to tooth, sessile or short petiolate. Petioles usually less than 6 millimeters long, or leaf blades narrowly elliptic or wider, mostly less than 6 times longer than wide.
Okay, remember in the back of your book, you have a magic ruler, right? So let's just take one of these.
Can we use your book again?
Yeah. So it's Definitely.
So I've got, my leaf is 9
more than
centimeters
6.
long
Ah,
and 1.1 centimeters wide. So is that more than 6 times?
yes.
Okay.
It takes us to 136. So mature leaves usually hairy, dull green to grayish or silvery, veins not conspicuous, riparian habitat and other moist sites, mostly basins and foothills, 825 to 2,590 meters, all Utah counties. Or mature leaves mostly glabrous, deep green, typically conspicuously veined, rocky steam banks, foothills to mountains up to 3,000 meters.
What do you think? Now we've looked at this through a loop. We've looked at both sides. And you've all commented that it has hairs, right? So the one here is mature leaves mostly glabrous. That means what?
Waxy.
No, that's glaucous. Very close though, right? Glabrous means, what was that, Maddie?
No
No.
No hairs, okay? So hairs or no hairs?
hairs.
Hairs, okay? So we're here at Salix exigua. Let's go to page 422 and take a look at it and read the description to see if we agree. You really need to do that on all of the Salicaceae species, okay? So I'll read that for us. Salix exigua, sandbar willow. Sandbar willow is one of Utah's most commonly observed willows, forming thickets that stand to 2 to 3 meters tall. The leaves are linear, up to 12 centimeters long and 1.5 centimeters wide, short petioled, hairy, and sometimes glabrous. The margins are entire or cerulate dentate teeth. So what's the margin on this one?
They do sometimes
They
Entire
do,
tooth
right?
to tooth.
It's finely toothed. I can feel it. If you run your hand along the edge, it kind of catches. Okay? With glandular teeth, the floral bracts are yellow pointed morlus villus. The catkins bloom in April to August. The capsules are hairy. Here's comments. The long, straight branches of Salix exigua have historically been used by indigenous peoples for making snowshoes, baskets, fish traps, and arrows. Exigua refers to the slender, flexible stems. So what do you think? Does that fit? Yeah, it actually fits really well. This is one that you guys will encounter a number of times in your experiences, all the way from southern Utah to northern Utah. In riparian areas, low, between, less than 9 feet tall, and it will often be along riverways and streamways, which we have right back here, right? Okay, so this is the sandbar willow, one of our most copious species of Salix in Utah. All right, any questions? This one, I believe, is on the to-know list. Well, it is now, but I mean, on the 65 bingo list. Okay. All right, should we do the one that we had in the back here and see if we get something different? Or we can do that one, or this tree here,